I never imagined that question would come. Not then, not from him, not while he was still grieving. But grief is a way of peeling people open, making them raw, vulnerable, and unfiltered. When he finally asked me if I had been with my ex before he passed away, I had a choice. I could have smoothed it over with a lie, pretended it never happened. But I didn't. I told him the truth. And just like that, everything we built began to unravel. Let me start at the beginning. Jason and I had been together for nearly 5 years. He was steady, gentle, thoughtful, the kind of man you could lean on, the kind you marry. But there was always someone else standing quietly in the corner of our story. His name was Noah. Noah wasn't just an ex. He was the ex, the one who left a mark too deep to fade. Our history had been wild, full of highs and lows, electric but unsustainable. We loved like a storm, fiercely, destructively, briefly. Eventually, we parted ways, not because the love died, but because it refused to grow. Still, even years later, I'd catch myself thinking of him when a certain song played, when I smelled rain in summer. I'd dream of him, then wake to find Jason's arm wrapped around me. Jason knew about Noah. I never hid that chapter in my life. He never asked me to forget it. That was one of the things I loved about him, his quiet trust. But when I found out Noah was sick, I didn't tell Jason. Not right away. It started with a simple message from someone we both used to know. Hey, just so you're aware, Noah's in the hospital. It's nothing major, just precautionary. But it didn't stay that way. Within days, he'd been moved to palliative care. His liver was failing. Time was running out. Something inside me shifted. It wasn't romantic, not at first. It was just a pull. A sense that if I didn't see him one last time, I'd never forgive myself. So I told Jason. And in true Jason fashion, he said gently, if it's something you need to do, then go. So I went. Noah was barely recognizable. Thinner, quieter. But when he saw me, his whole face lit up like we were back in college again. We didn't talk much, just sat together. We held hands, smiled through tears, laughed at memories we hadn't spoken of in years. And when visiting hours ended and the nurse came in, he turned to me and whispered, please stay. I should have walked away, but I didn't. I stayed, all night, through the discomfort, the meds, the trembling conversations that come when people know they're nearing the end. And somewhere in those dark hours, when words failed and silence carried more weight than anything, we crossed that line. We slept together. It wasn't about rekindling anything. It wasn't passion. It was grief. Raw, human closeness in the face of something final. A goodbye in the only language we had ever spoken fluently together. Noah passed away 2 days later. I didn't tell Jason what happened. Not because I wanted to deceive him, but because I didn't know how to explain it without tearing everything apart. I told myself it wasn't really cheating. It was grief, closure, a moment I could lock away, carry alone, and never let it poison what Jason and I had. And for a while, I thought I succeeded. Until, months later, we were arguing about something small. A bill unpaid, dishes left in the sink, or maybe just the quiet distance that had been creeping between us. Then suddenly, Jason looked at me, really looked, and asked, "Did you sleep with him?" I froze. My heart pounded in my ears. I could have said no, but I didn't. Yes. That single word changed everything. Jason didn't yell. He didn't curse or throw anything. He just stared at me, and slowly, I watched the warmth in his face turn to something colder, something unfamiliar. "You should have told me," he said. "You let me grieve with you. You let me think we were okay. You lay beside me every night, while carrying a secret that made everything we had false." I tried to explain. I stumbled through words. It wasn't love, it was just, he was dying. I didn't know how to say goodbye. "You could have done it without sleeping with him," he replied, his voice quiet, flat. I never expected perfection, but I expected honesty. He packed a bag that night, walked out without another word. We didn't speak for weeks. Every morning, I checked my phone, hoping for a message, something, a sign that he could see past it, that he could forgive the messiness of grief. But the message never came. He didn't unblock me. He didn't return. And the truth is, I didn't blame him. I chose that moment. I stayed. I crossed a line I couldn't uncross. And even if it came from a place of love, of closure, of loss, it was still betrayal. I thought the hardest part would be losing Noah. But it turned out the real pain came later, when I realized I had lost Jason too. Not just the man I lived with, but the one who believed in me, who saw me as something good, something worth trusting. And if I'm honest with myself, I'd still say goodbye to Noah again. I had to, but I wish I'd been brave enough to tell Jason the whole truth right then. Because if you're going to break someone's heart, they deserve to see it coming, not months later, not after they've built a future on a secret. Now, I wake up alone. Noah is gone. Jason is gone. And all I have left is a truth I waited too long to speak.